It's
Really?
such an uplifting song.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, he did. He did. I liked variety shows. They were fun.
They were fun. They were
Yeah.
various. If you look up the Paul Lynn one, the Halloween one, that's a pretty good one. They have like Witchy Poo, and then they have the witch from the Wizard of Oz, and it was a pretty good. And Paul Lynn
Yeah.
is just Paul Lynn, He's funny. Hey, do you make any sense of this Michigan thing?
The Michigan thing.
Yeah, how the two Republicans just said, okay, these are certified. Remember, it was like hung 2-2.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. Yeah, they have voted, but it looks like somebody got to them. You know.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's what I
Uh,
was looking at.
this this thing is a farce. Our elections are a farce. Our
Yeah,
media is a farce.
it is.
You know,
It's literally.
I just WMUR is this radio a TV station up in New Hampshire. I don't give a shit, but I follow them on Twitter just to get a gist of what's going on up there.
Yeah.
And they and the media just in general are like they're putting out these death stories like on Twitter. Like I'm getting them every day. I get like 2 or 3 a day of my brother died 2 days after getting COVID. A school teacher died 2 days after getting
Yeah, did you
COVID.
get that story I sent you
Real.
yesterday about the this young boy is now an orphan because his parents died of COVID?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was on CNN, of course.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it didn't tell what they really died of, because I'm sure they didn't die of COVID,
No,
you know.
no.
But
They,
but they didn't say on this one. I read the
yeah,
whole thing.
the thing I responded again today. Like, okay, you people are fucking journalists, right? Okay, your job is to like get the story.
Yeah.
They never give you the medical history of the person that died.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
never. It's amazing to me that as a reporter, like it never occurs to them to even ask. They
Yeah.
just put this story out. This woman said, she's like, I was a nurse and I had to treat my own father in the ICU with COVID.
And he
Cancer.
didn't believe COVID could kill, but
Yeah, yeah,
now he does. See, they all have the same theme.
that broad on friggin' CNN. You
Yeah.
know, she goes, she comes out and she starts shitting all over her fucking dead patients.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't believe it and they died saying they couldn't believe. Oh, what a friggin' nice nurse, huh? But
Yeah. I
first,
know.
but then some guys started like digging into it, and in the county that she's in, there's only been one COVID death.
Hmm.
And people are like, well, so people are like, she works at a hospital in the next county. She's a traveling nurse because they're first responder heroes. And they find out that there's only 6 people in hospital beds for COVID in her hospital,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they've had one death.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I just saw a thing today that when you go in and get a COVID test, they make you stay at the hospital for 24 hours of observation
Hmm.
if you test positive and you're at risk.
Yeah.
Counting those people as hospitalized for COVID.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This
Yeah.
is nothing but a power grab. I told you last night. I went out driving, and nobody's going anywhere. Like nobody is going out.
Yeah.
Even if they opened the restaurants, the journalists keep putting out these friggin' stories, and people are just like not going anywhere. They're not
Yeah.
going to the malls. They're not going to the restaurants. Here in Massachusetts, it's getting cold out. You can't sit outside now.
Hmm.
It was 40 degrees yesterday. You're not going to sit outside and eat a $27 steak on a picnic table in 40-degree weather.
Yeah.
What the hell? It's ridiculous. And so people aren't.
Yeah. They're not. They're just not going out. They're just.
Yeah. I
You
saw
know,
a tweet
just.
from a guy today. And he goes, I'm a restaurant owner, and the problem isn't the restaurants. Even at 50% capacity, we don't have full restaurants, and the problem is COVID. We need to get a handle on COVID. So I'm like, who the hell is this guy? So I click on his profile, ex FBI, ex Microsoft, ex Google.
Yeah.
And then I click on some of his pictures. The guy's a friggin' millionaire. I think he lives in London now.
Yeah.
And the restaurant he owns is in London. And he's a millionaire restaurant investor. He's
Yeah.
not some small business guy that owns a coffee shop.
Yeah.
I saw the
See,
picture.
those are the people I want to hear from. You know, the frontline people who actually have the restaurants, who have the bakeries, who have the small places,
they'll never
not the
talk.
chains.
They'll
Not
never
the.
talk. They'll never talk to him because these elites in Washington and in the media, these elites hate those people.
Yeah.
They hate those people. If you're not living on a private road somewhere, they don't give a shit about you because the media people, their checks are being direct deposited every Thursday. The mayors, the governors, their checks are being direct deposited every Thursday. Every city, state, and federal worker, their checks are always being direct deposited. But the people out here that are like don't have $2 million sitting in the fucking bank, that have to depend on their income to survive, they're the ones that are, oh, you gotta stay home for COVID.
Yeah.
The air is filled with poison bugs. And
Yeah.
if you go outside, I'm so sick of this. I am so fed up with this
See,
stuff.
that's why Southern California hates Northern California. It's the opposite. I know I keep repeating this as a theme, but we have completely different economies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Southern California is more entertainment with Hollywood and the amusement parks and stuff, and Northern California is more high tech. There's Silicon Valley where they can work at home, no problem. They're thinking, hey, this is great. We don't have traffic anymore. But down here, it's literally killing the state. It's driving, and I think they're doing it on purpose because they hate each other. Yeah. And it's like, dudes, you know what it's doing down here.
We're looking at it from a California perspective. I'm looking at it from a world perspective. Yeah. I'm looking at it from this group of elites versus, because even in Southern California, if you're an actor, like when Ellen was doing the thing at the beginning of the COVID and she was crying because I don't know what to do, and she's sitting in her fucking mansion.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Yeah,
oh, look. I can't. I have my lesbian wife here, and all we do is sit in the pool nude all day. And guess what? We have to get our own drinks because our cleaning lady, we had to let her go because we don't want her bringing her poison into our beautiful climate-controlled environment. And it's awful. Fuck these people. Fuck these people. You know? And it's all about control. This is all about control, and it's all about training kids. Because these kids, you just tell them to put a mask on, they'll put a mask on. There's no reason for any of these kids to be wearing masks. None. I'm walking around, I see these little 4-year-old kids walking with their moon fat mother. Got his face covered with a friggin' mask, and they're walking on the sidewalk. There's nobody else around.
Yeah. I told you when my son came back from Penn State, they couldn't go out of their room without a mask on.
Yeah.
So he was living like on campus for like months with masks outside.
Because the students are still here. They're probably starting to leave now, but they're still here. And dude, they're as docile as friggin' lambs. Usually, and I hate the college students. They're a colossal pain in the ass. They get in the car. They're loud. They're stupid. They're just they just got so much of that energy, And I'm an old guy, and it's like, shut the fuck up, And they get in the car. But now they're getting in the car. They got their mess. They're breathing their own CO2. So they're as docile as friggin' sheep. Yeah. And they're not doing anything. They're not going anywhere. They're not exploring the city. They're accepting their fate, and they're just walking around campus and going to whatever classes that they have, but they're overpriced friggin' faculty that's teaching them, making 6 figures. And they don't even care. Like, that's the other thing. The teachers, they can't teach under. The ones that care can't possibly effectively under the. And the ones that, the majority of them probably, that are just like, dated and don't give a shit about teaching anymore, they don't care. They're like, because we'll all get COVID and die. It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. And people are gonna, hear me, and they're gonna go, oh, you're just some kind of Trump supporter, and if you get COVID, you'll be singing a different tune. And I'm like, look, no, I look at this as anything else. I don't want it any more than I want the flu. There's
Yeah.
another guy. Did you get that thing I sent you earlier?
Which one?
The I thought I sent you a link. Maybe I didn't. And it was a secret. A guy taped a conference call. He wasn't supposed to, but he did.
No, I didn't get that.
Yeah, and he taped a conference call with this up in Edmonton, Canada, and he had a doctor get on, and this guy was like, he gave all of his certifications and everything like that. He wasn't just some like, I'm a dermatologist, and let me tell you, COVID is a deadly, like, who cares? A fucking dermatologist, He wasn't one of those. He was. Oh yeah. He no longer practices. He's now on the board of a company that sells COVID tests.
Yeah.
So this guy was legit, and he's like, bullshit. He goes, this is bullshit. He goes, what we have right now is just a bad flu, and we get these every now and then. We get bad flu seasons every now and then. He goes, that's all. This is a bad flu. He goes, there's no need for masks. The masks do not protect you from this thing, especially the masks that I use. I just paid. Actually, I have this personal thing where I don't buy masks. I'm not going to buy them. I'm not going to add them to my grocery order. I just sent it. So, but I need masks for work. So I make my son buy them. I know.
I know. I've been using mine for like 3 months. It's gross now.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
And so anyway, he goes out and buys these masks, and on my box it says does not protect against the COVID virus. No shit.
Yeah.
No,
none of them do.
So if these ones don't, do you think the ones that you have that have the New England Patriots logo on it, do you think those protect against COVID? No, they don't.
Yeah, I told you yesterday, California's back to the purple range, right? Yeah. And so I have this Orange County, tabulator. They do really good charts on it, right? And so I'm showing my buddy. He's saying, well, hospital cases are up. I keep talking about flattening the curve. We already did flatten the curve. And he's like, well, the curve's going back up. You have to be careful. I go, well, look at the deaths. The deaths have dropped. This is the lowest death rate we've had for this thing since March, since this whole lockdown started, right? So with the hospitalizations going up for some reason, the deaths are dropping still, or they're staying the same. So it's like, so I asked him, what do you want? When are you happy when this is over? And I get the same question. Well, when people are safe, I go, well, they're safe now. What do you mean by safe? People are not dying. They're getting this thing, they're getting over it, and then they're moving on. Right. So when does the lockdown, we're not only moving forward, we move back this week. And that's what pissed me off. Yeah. It's like, dudes, no one's dying from this thing. We have plenty of these ventilators. The ventilator message has kind of gone the way of the dodo. But, it's still, we no one's dying from this. And people are admitted to the hospitals with it. Big deal. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, who cares? It's like, let's move on. Don't strangle the country because of this ridiculous thing.
Ask your buddy this. In 2015, between the months of March and November, how many people, average age 82, died in your town, in your state, and in the country? Has no effing idea. These people talking about deaths don't have any context because they don't know how many people died last year in November in that group, in that vulnerability. Okay, so ask them, how many people with comorbidities, average age 82, died in the month of October in 2019? He can't fucking tell you because he has no idea. So he thinks, well, there was 70 deaths last week in my state. 70 deaths. And it's like, well, normally, how many died in 2019 in your state in the same period? Doesn't know. So this is all. You can do anything you want with numbers and stats. You can do anything you want. The bottom line is, we had polio going on in this fucking country in 1950. Literally, little children were dying. Little children. And the children that didn't die ended up with friggin' braces on their legs and grew up and been crippled their whole life. And we didn't shut them down. This is bullshit. I'm sick of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, I gotta go upstairs and fix my
Later.
computer, so I'll talk to you later.